What's up, everybody? It's the Chill Scrub, and this time I'm doing a tier list. Not a traditional tier list where I do a tier list based off of which character is better than the other, but a tier list or an explanation of what characters that you should probably pick based off of your type of playstyle. I just broke it into 4, so we're going to start off with all-arounders, offensive, defensive, mix-up, and Oki. So what I mean by mix-up and Oki, I mean they can do both ground game Oki like Kazuya, Ana, but they can do standing mix-ups just like I would say like a Hwoarang type character. So this is extremely subjective. This is just my opinion on what characters that beginners, intermediates, or people that just need to change a character, what will fit them better. This is just my ideas. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go ahead and start with Heihachi, and of course Heihachi is gonna go into the offensive category. The reason why I say offensive: mids, more mids, great plus frames, good counter hits, everything that you need in an offensive character. He's the most offensive Mishima you can possibly get. He can, offensively wise, he can do it all. Defensively wise, he's great too, but season 1 through 3, he was lacking in the whole launching department with his while standing launcher. He recently got that, but his defensive options just are not as good as some other characters that I'm going to put in the defensive category. So he goes with the offensive. His offense is very good. You can play him either way, but I would definitely say the offense is where he mostly leans. Kazuya, his son, of course, he's going to go into the defensive category. The reason why he goes into defensive, even though he has one of the strongest vortexes in Tekken 7, of course, the reason why he will go into defensive category is because in the stand-up and neutral game, he really can't do much when somebody's up close and personal with him. He can't trade jabs with you. He can't really trade down forward ones. He can't check you with a traditional down forward one. And unlike certain characters like Lee, his down forward 4, which is 13 frames, leaves him at -4. Now, yes, he has great whiff punishment and all this other thing, which is why he's in the defense category. He has the best whiff punisher in the game, which is Electro and God Fist. And I know Heihachi has it too, but it's more so catered to Kazuya, seeing though he has the fastest one in the game. Now, I'm not saying that everybody can do that, but I'm just saying if you want a defensive character that really hurts when he punishes you, you can't go wrong with Kazuya. His 1-1-2 punish is awesome. Back 1-2 at 11 to 12 frames is amazing. 2-2 is awesome, and it leaves you at +6. I can go on and on about Kazuya because I made the character. So we're just gonna go to the next character. Jin is a all-arounder. He does it all. He does everything you need a character to do. You need throws, he got you. You need lows, he has you. You need solid poking, he got that. You need punishment, he can do that. At 10 frames, he gets 2-4. At 12 frames, he gets 1+2. At 14 frames, he gets electric. At 15 frames, he gets a hop kick and a can kick, and so forth and so forth. His whiff punishment is excellent. He has the forward 4, and he has some of the best counter hits you can possibly ask for with excellent homing moves. So he does it all. The only problem with the character is the T-Rex arm. So sometimes you're going to have to get in very close to get that good hit, or you have to really set your opponent up for them to fall for the mind games or things like that. So you just don't want to just whiff things willy-nilly. He's not one of those go crazy kind of characters. Akuma, I was going to put him off of my own mindset. I was going to put him in defensive, but as I thought about it more, of course, he's going to go into the offensive lane. Especially with meter, with everything being said, if he has his meter, if he touches you, you're damn near dead, especially if the player is good. So if you want a character that packs a fucking wallop, but at the same time, got a few gimmicks that a person would have to lab, I would definitely go with Akuma. You would think with his offensive options that they're not very solid. His down forward 1-1 string is telegraphed, but his forward 4-3 is really good to get in. It sets him up for the down 3 mix up. His poking tools aren't that much, but his explosive damage on the offensive end is just amazing, and his punishment as far as defensive wise is nothing. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna put him in the defensive category now I think about it. When you have a 10 frame launch punisher, you really can't go wrong with that. I mean, he can make you pay for doing something stupid. Imagine dying off a sidestep jab, or you just happen to do a jab and he just high crushes you with down 3, and then next thing you know, you're dead. So yeah, I'm gonna go with my original mind and put him in the defensive category. Lars, I will put in the offensive category. His punishment is nothing like a Kazuya or anything like that. He has solid punishment, but it's nothing like a Kazuya or like I just said with Akuma, where you can literally kill somebody off of a 10 frame punish. His offensive tools are good. He checks you for ducking. You don't want to duck against the character too much. He has solid lows. He has an orbital heal, a crushing hop kick, spin flip thing, whatever you want to call it, is really good. Up 4-3, but granted, with that being said, you don't want to abuse it because at higher ranks, you will die for it. They will launch you and you're going to die for it. But his offensive tools are very solid. His offense is way better than his defense. So he's not a character you want to play super defensively, but he can get the job done if you need it. But you want that offensive power, Lars has you. Plus, he has amazing wall carry. Thanks to season 4. Thanks a lot, Harada. I didn't appreciate that. But Lars needed a buff because in season 3 and 2, he was in 1, he was ass. So we're gonna go ahead and go with Alyssa. Alyssa is an all-arounder. You can play her either way. She can be offensive or defensive. She can do whatever you need her to do. Her throw game is okay. It's very solid. She can do everything. Has some of the best movement you can possibly ask for. Some of the greatest poking tools. And if you need gimmicks, she has those as well. You can't ask for more in the character. Hwoarang, of course, is going into the offensive lane. His defensive punishment is actually not that good, so you want to pick your shots wisely. If you're going to play that defensive way, he's not meant to be played that way. His offensive tools are amazing. Imagine being +5 for a jab. That is fucking phenomenal. His launch punishment is amazing. His throw game is complete. But at the same time, what you do, you sacrifice 10 frame. There's no 10 frame knockdown. You get plus frames off of 4-3 and things of that nature, but off of his 10 and 11 frame punishers. But as far as like getting the knockdown and starting to oki, that's not happening. He's offensive. He stands you up and he keeps pounding at you until you do something stupid, and then he launches you in there and you die. He also has explosive damage. So most of the offensive characters I'm mentioning, just like Heihachi, they have explosive damage. They really hurt when they hit. Double Gen is an all-arounder. He does it all. Wall carry, he got that. Throw game is not the best, but it can pass. Mix-up game, he has that. Punishment game, he has that. The only problem that people, if you want to pick Double Gen, the only problem that you're going to really have is the execution barrier. Just like any Mishima, you're going to have an execution barrier. But other than that, if you can get past that hump of that execution, he does everything you can possibly need and some. So Double Gen is definitely an all-arounder. Dragunov is an all-arounder. He really is. He's an all-around character, solid throw game, solid poking, good punishment, has a decent amount of evasive moves, decent movement. He can really sit there and harass you all day with running 2s if you let him, and set you up and really harass you up with down 2. You don't want to be in that situation all day. I know there's more to the character than running 2 and down 2, but you cannot sit there and deny that. That's the sum of the core of the character, that he needs these tools to be effective. They took one of those tools out the game, Dragunov would be like an F tier character. He'll be trash. Paul, a lot of people are going to be shocked with this, but I'll put Paul in the defensive. Paul is, to me, is an extremely defensive character, and let me tell you why. From my experience, playing Paul offensively doesn't really work. What I mean by that is he has a solid jab, but it's very stubby. He has a down forward 1 that's really good that you can sway out of and counsel into other moves, but at the same time, the startup is a little bit slower than your traditional down forward 1. And you need that. He doesn't have a traditional down forward 4 where it's 12 frames. And he doesn't have a traditional down 4 either, where it just high crushes. So if you press down 4, you get Demolition Man. The thing with Paul is if he gets you at the wall, he gets the devastating mix-up between Death Fist or a Demo Man. He has a solid throw game, a complete throw game, but I feel like his greatest thing is whiff punishing with that Death Fist. That down forward 2 is it's one of the most cheapest things that you can possibly get. A high crushing down forward 2 that's -7. This is one of the key reasons why I put him in defensive, as a defensive character. So if you want a character with explosive damage, not hard to play, has a few gimmicks, but for the most part is an honest, straightforward character, go with Paul. Law, which is my old main, is definitely an all-arounder. They actually make this character insane. He does everything Jin can do, but easier, if that makes any sense. He has a 14 frame launch punisher that literally his whole body lunges at you, so it has immaculate range. Problem is that the last hit is a high, they can duck it and punish you, and if you don't finish the string, I think you're still minus 14. So certain characters are still going to launch you, like Kazuya, Twin Pistons. Another reason why he's in the defensive category, some of the best punishment you will ever get in the game. But offensive wise, you need mids. He has them. Homing, he has 2 homing mids that are phenomenal. You need a parry, he has that. You need solid lows, he has that. You need great poking, he has that. You need a defensive down forward 2, that's minus 7, he has that. You need a hop kick that crushes lows, he has that. You want a damaging hop kick that turns into a flip kick for the most part, he has that too. Evasive moves, he has that. Mix up and Oki game, he has that with his slide mix up. The only thing for I would tell people that's going to pick this character up, if you feel like this character is for you, he does come with a small executional barrier of the DSS. If you can get that DSS down, he's relatively easy to use, and you get a huge payoff for a little amount of work. Bob, offensive, definitely offensive. He's mix-up heavy. His standing game really isn't that good. His neutral game really isn't that great. Definitely doesn't compare to a character like Law. But he can definitely rush you down. I feel like Bob is Incognito was one of my favorite Bobs watching in Tag 2, and I used to watch how he used to just sit there and harass opponents constantly with some of Bob's greatest tools. And they buffed some of his tool. I think it's CD1 that got buffed into a natural hit launcher. Be aggressive with this character. You want a character that's pretty much a Walmart Mishima, does everything a Mishima can do, but doesn't have the solid punishment of a Mishima, but just the pure raw offensive power. You go with Bob. The only problem is, another reason why I put him there is his hop kick is ass. It starts 16 frames, not really that good. His down forward 2 doesn't launch on natural hit, so it has to be a counter hit for that to launch. So that's the reason why I put him in the offensive. Bob is really solid, so try Bob, he's really good. Bryan is definitely going to be a character that is going to be in the defensive. He has every defensive tool you need, and damn near everything counter hit launches. You want a character that does a shit ton of damage for a good read at a person that's making a mistake and being overextending. Bryan is the way to go. 3+4 counter hit launches, back 1 counter hit launches, mock kick evades damn near everything, and on top of that, it's a homing move. Down forward 2-3, knocks down on counter hit. He's a great, phenomenal character. You don't just rush in. He has an orbital heal to keep you out that goes back and forward and neutral. So he has all the tools you need. Very solid character. And sometimes he can be oppressive because you're scared to press buttons with him, but definitely defensive route. If you want to play him to his highest potential, you play him defensively and force your opponent to make mistakes with your great movement and so forth. So if you want a character with explosive damage, but at the same time you want to pick your shots very wisely and keep them out, Bryan is the way to go. Steve. I have a hard time picking which one I want to be Steve because you can play him either way. But if I had to pick, I would say he's an all-arounder. Most of the characters that are high tier, or as I would consider high tier characters, S tier characters, they're all-arounders. They can do it all. Not really much to say. It's hard to open them up. The only problem with Steve is his comeback factor, but if he wants to pick you apart, he really can. Good jab punishment, jab strings. He can get in really easy. He can make you miss. He has evasive sways, and on top of that, his sidestep is not that bad either. It's pretty average, so he can pretty much do it all. Solid throw game, decent Oki. If you want a solid character that hurts like hell just off of a jab, go with Steve. Can't go wrong with that. But with that being said, Steve is another high execution character, so if you're not looking for a high execution, I would definitely go with a character like Law or Dragunov or even Alyssa. These characters don't require much execution, but you still get a lot of bang for the buck. You don't have to really worry about dropping a whole bunch. Nina, of course, offensive. That goes without saying. Buttons upon buttons upon buttons upon buttons. Her whole game plan is to harass you into doing stupid shit and then kill you. I mean, she has it all. Like, she down forward 1 strings for days, low strings for days, strings upon strings upon strings. So if you want to mindlessly press buttons and harass the hell out of your opponent and possibly never have any friends, you go with Nina. That's my judgment on that. Lily, defensive actually. Lily is defensive. Her offensive options are not that great. Her down forward 1 is actually pretty ass. Her ways of getting in are pretty ass, but her sidestepping and her punishment is really good for what the character is. It's extremely good. 14 frame, 3-1, excellent knockdown tool. She has pretty decent Oki. and her down forward 1, and she has a lot of moves that does a lot of crushing and a lot of counter hit launchers. So she's a very solid character, defensive character. I'll definitely put her defensively. So if you want a character with good movement and you still have to pick your shots, but you get decent damage and a lot of wall carry, I will go with Lily. Asuka, definitely defensive. I hate this. I love and hate this character. I love playing her. I hate fighting her. Her offensive options are absolute trash. Like they're not really that good. Don't get me wrong, a good player can open you up regardless, but that's the last character you would expect to try to open you up is a Asuka. The thing about it is she has such excellent defensive tools that it makes you second guess trying to just run up on her with her parry if you don't know how to chicken, which is most players. Most players on PS4 and PC don't know how to chicken anything. Her punishment from forward 2, really good. Her 10 frame punishment that knocks down, which is 2-3 or 2-4, I believe, knocks down. Just a solid all-around character. Her hop kick is pretty ass, but you can get around that. So yeah, she's definitely a defensive character. Her back 3 is the most annoying shit in the game as far as a defensive keep out tool. This shit is really annoying, but it's really, really good. So pick Asuka if you want to annoy your opponents and possibly not have any friends either. But she's excellent defensively. If you don't really want to rely on your offense or you're not an offensive player, go with Asuka. Way to go. Ling, she's bullshit. I hate this fucking character. I will always hate this character. She is mix-up heavy. Offense is decent, but her mix-ups in Oki makes you second guess your whole entire life. If she knocks you down, it's a whole bunch of bullshit. All the evasiveness in the fucking world. So if you want to play a character where nobody hardly ever knows the matchup or even going to attempt to learn the matchup, go ahead and go with Zhao Yu. Her mix-up game is amazing. Feng Wei, offensive. I'm gonna have to put him in an all-arounder because he can do either way. With his reverse Kempo step mix stuff, he's hard to hit, evasive as hell, has decent punishment. His offensive tools are really good. He can really poke at you. I'll put him in offensive. He can really poke at you. He's just really slippery, but his punishment game is good, but it's not the best. I'll put him in offensive. Leo, or Leo, however you want to say it, definitely, I would say, I want to put her all around, but I'm gonna put her at offensive. Her back 1 mix-ups are annoying to deal with if you don't know what you're doing. She has decent punishment, but that's not the main thing. She really just picks her shots really well and pummels you to death once she knocks you down. Not super mix-up heavy, but she does have a good mix-up game. So if you want a character that offense is really, really strong, but defense is okay, I would definitely go with Leo. Yoshimitsu, is that even a question? Yoshimitsu is obviously going to go in the mix-up Oki game. Nobody hardly knows what he's doing. Even the player himself doesn't know what he's doing with Yoshimitsu. It's just stuff happens on the screen and you die. King, King is an all-arounder. He can do it all. Good poking. Good, decent lows. I won't say the best lows, but lows that get the job done. His lows are his throws. The best throw game in the game, hands down. Yeah, he can pretty much do it all. He can do it all. He has good counter hits, good throws, good lows, good mids, good homing moves. Very solid character. Nothing I can really complain about. If you lose that character, it's your fault. But if you really want to just grab your opponents to death and annoy the shit out of them, and possibly have a lot of people rage quit at you, go ahead and pick King. Jack 7. Defensive, easily a defensive character. You could play him offensively. Any of these characters that I'm mentioning, I'll put them in defensive or offense. You can play them the other way if you want to, but the way I see them being played, or the way that I think they should be played, is more towards what's being presented on the screen. Jack 7, extremely strong character. Defensive with his down forward 2, annoys and harass you with down back 1s. He has pancake press forward 1. That's really, really good to stop you from just mashing buttons on him. He has his annoying strings that if you don't know what's going on, you're going to get smacked. Has solid range, something you don't want to really you're not just going to walk in on him. He's a wall. You can play him offensively, but his defensive game is where he really shines. So if he catches the lead and you back off, you're going to be pretty safe. He's not just going to run up on you. Katarina, offensive, of course. Just mash the 4 button and you win. Kazumi, I'm gonna say offensive, actually. Kazumi's very offensively. She harasses you with down 4 or 1, her down back 4. Her tools are very fundamental. If you want a fundamental character that's extremely solid, that'll teach you all the basics and essentials of Tekken, That's the character for you right there. She doesn't do the absolute most, but when she hits you, it hurts, and she can harass you on the floor. It doesn't take much to whittle you down to nothing with Kazumi. That's an excellent character, excellent offense, solid defense. She's almost an all-arounder, but her throw game is lacking, and her mix-up potential is not there. She needs that mix-up game. King can mix you up. He has a dirty Oki game and a mix-up game, so that's the reason why King is up there. Gigas, defensive character all day. All day. Nothing but pure range, unadulterated. Pure range and damage. If you want a super easy character to play, right, but you want raw, pure, unadulterated damage, you go with Gigas. The problem is with Gigas though is that most players that are at a higher level, they're going to know the matchup, and once people know the matchup, they realize that Gigas is ass, and most of the moves that he uses are -9 or -7 or higher, so your turn is over. And on top of that, with Gigas, you cannot move. He's a big ass character. He's a wall. He's not moving, and on top of that, his throw game is lacking. So his strike game, as far as defense wise, he keeps you out with his down forward 1, his jab, his forward 2. You don't just run in on Gigas, but if they get in, you're pretty much assed out. Claudio, offensive, his defensive options aren't that great, but he can harass you with his running 1, 4-4-3. All those tools are really, really good. But yeah, his defense is not lacking. His throw game is not that good either. So yeah, he's a solid offensive character that you could just easily pick up and play. And really, same thing with Kazumi. She's easy to pick up. But Claudio's really easy to pick up and play. Not really that much difficulty. Shaheen, he's one of the weaker all-arounders. If I would have to, he's like a weaker all-arounder. His throw game is okay. He has good poking, good defensive options with his hop kick, his down forward 2, good counter hit options. You don't just walk in on him, and he has a mean, nasty mix-up with the slide, just like Law. But Law's is better because he has more options. So if you want pretty much downgraded Law, you should just go ahead and pick Shaheen. Nobody plays Shaheen to win. I'm sorry, they play Shaheen because they like him. Josie, an annoying character, offensive, obviously, harasses you with lows, mids, and you just don't run up on her. She has great counter hit tools. Decent movement, I guess. Most females have weak, smaller hitbox, so they're harder to hit anyway. But I definitely feel like Josie's a solid offensive character. Her defensive options are okay, but most of them are punishable if blocked or if mistimed. So you want to watch out for that. Master Raven mix up Oki, just does bullshit and you get hit. And this is a biased opinion. I really just hate this fucking character. She's fucking retarded. Lucky Chloe, her offense isn't really that strong. Her mix-up game is fucking annoying as hell. She's really strong. If you want a character that parties hard, go ahead and go with Lucky Chloe and damages like hell. She likes Zhao Yu, but Zhao Yu has a stronger mix-up game, but Lucky Chloe does way more damage. I'll say like this: if you get one good mix-up, you get a launcher, one good mix-up with Lucky Chloe, they're dead. With Zhao Yu, you're probably gonna need 1 or 2, depending on if you got a wall or not. Eddie, mix-up character, easily. I would say either mix-up defensive. His offensive options aren't that good. He just relies on you not knowing the matchup and you doing something stupid. Eliza, I would say an offensive character. She's pretty solid. Her defensive options aren't the best. Ooh, I didn't do that. Her defensive options aren't the best, but if she gets meter, she becomes annoying as hell, just like any other meter character. Miguel, offense all day, baby. Just sit there and just pound your opponent to death. If you want a character that's not hard to use, he has very easy stance transitions and can pretty much pummel you to the ground, and has a strong and mean amount of damage. A lot of these characters have a lot of damage, but like without a wall, does massive damage. Go with Miguel. And he has a solid mix-up game and a decent throw game. His throw game isn't that bad. He has a 50-50 mix-up with his throw game. So yeah, he's pretty solid. Lee, obviously a defensive character. Very, very defensive. Back 4. Need I say more? He's one of the counter hit kings. He's just as good as Bryan, if not better. You don't walk in on Lee. Down back 3, back 4, down forward 2, down forward 1. A lot of these moves stop you dead in your tracks. You don't just want to run up on this character. And he does solid damage, and it has the best wall carry in the game. So he makes you pay for doing something stupid. The problem with Lee is, if you want to play this character, he comes with an extremely demanding execution barrier. A lot of people think that he's easy. He's really not. He's extremely hard, but he's very rewarding. So if you want a character that does good damage and has the best wall carry in the game, go ahead and go with Lee, and he keeps you out. So Pumas, both of these characters are defensive easily. They're defensive characters. You can argue mix up, but I will put them more in the defensive lane. Their mix ups aren't that scary if you know what you're doing. Zhao Yu, if you can know what you're doing and still get your ass bopped, just like any one of these characters, you can know what you're doing and still get hit by these mix-ups. Like they're very strong. That's what they do. Geese Howard, I would say he's a very defensive character actually. until he gets meter. Then he gets meter, he becomes really, really stupid. But I will put him in the defensive category. He requires you opening up and him using movement and using his fireballs and things like that to force you into doing something stupid defensive. Not super defensive, but more defensive than offensive to me. I've never been harassed by a Geese player. That doesn't happen. I've been harassed by a fucking Heihachi player. It's fucking annoying. Noctis, party hard, offensive character. To me, has one of the best punishments in the game with down 4-2. It goes halfway across the screen, but it's super launch punishable. So you don't want to just spam that out there. So yeah, if you want a character that literally just press the triangle button, or as you want to use Tekken notation, the 2 button, just go ahead and go with Noctis and just mash 2 all day or 1+2 all day and have at it. If you lay mix up easily, nobody knows that matchup, nobody cares to know that matchup, and nobody wants to learn it. Ana, I would say definitely offensive, but she can easily go into mix-up categories, like strong counter hits, annoying damage, and on top of that has an auto low parry, good counters on everything, good movement. The only thing about it is the reason why she's not a mix-up Oki character, because her mix-ups are extremely risky. If you block it, she dies. But it's really, really good, and have a good luck trying to block it. Marduk is not an offensive character. I know that's hard to believe, but he's a defensive character. Believe it or not, like his offensive options normally leave you in a real fucked up position. You just can't just spam down forward 2 or anything like that. Most of the time he's going to get stepped. The problem is when you give him space and he gets room to get the tackles, that's where the problem starts. But to me, he's a very pick your shot kind of character, but he is cheap. His Oki game is fucking broken. You know, I'm gonna put him in the Oki. Yeah, his Oki game is fucking retarded. His mix-up Oki game is fucking stupid. Armor King, one of the most honest characters in the game. I would say he's defensive. You got to pick your shots. But I would pick, why pick him when you could just pick King? He's all arounder. He can do it all. He can do what Armor King can't do. But his defensive options are pretty good. His punishment is really strong, and he does a shit ton of damage. So go ahead and pick up if you want a defensive character that you can be offensive with. But you have to pick your shots. I will go with Armor King. Really solid character all around. Well, I wouldn't say all around, but really solid. Julia, I would say either offensive or mix up in Oki. I'm gonna just put her in offensive because she can play the neutral game and she can harass you with Party Crasher, and that's really, really annoying. And you have to guess. And if you do guess wrong and press a button and she ends up doing the full string, you get counter hit launched. Our Oki is fucking disgusting. Most DLC characters have the most disgusting Oki in the game, but she's really, 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 really good. Nothing much more to say. If you want a character that has solid Oki, I mean not even solid, great Oki and very good offensive poking, go ahead and go with Julia. The problem with Julia, she does have an execution barrier. She is not a traditional Tekken character by her notation. It's very weird playing her, so it's going to take some time to get used to that. But once you get used to that, you'll be running over people all the time because you hardly ever run into them. So Negan, offensive all day, definitely offensive. He can make you pay on the defensive end, definitely he can with his down forward 2 power crush launcher. He has great counter hits, but he can oppress you but just by playing Tekken with down 4-1s and jabs and solid lows that keep you in check that you can't low parry, but if you block it, he dies. And that's about it. He's really solid. So if you want a character that has solid poking, damage, hurts like a motherfucker, and good counter hits, go ahead and go with Negan. And on top of that, he uses a badge. So some of his lows you can't parry at all. Hwoarang, all-arounder. Well, no, yeah, all around. I would say he all around. He can do it all. Great movement, great sidestep and backdash movement, all of that. He's hard to hit, has all the counter hit tools you can, has a nasty mix up 50-50 with his hell sweep, has a decent 50-50 throw game. He's pretty solid. Gonryu, a mix-up heavy character, but I would definitely put him in defensive before because he has to get that knockdown to truly mix you up. He really needs that knockdown first. Safina, mix-up Oki. Oh, solid damage. He's pretty much a bullshit character. He does great damage, all that. He could easily go on all-arounder, but he's not because his neutral actually sucks. His jab is 12 frames. It's really slow, so he gets beat out a lot. But if he hits you, it hurts like hell, so you earned it. If you get that hit, you earned it. But he has a lot of bullshit once he knocks you down. A lot of fucking gimmicky ass shit that you don't know what the hell is going on. And a lot of fucking setups that if you don't know what's going on, you're probably going to be dead in the first 10 seconds. Safina, obviously a mix-up Oki character, but she can be easily an all-arounder. But I feel like her mix-up games between her stances and pretty much just harassing you is really annoying. You know what? Her Oki game really ain't that strong. I'm gonna go ahead and put her in offensive. Really, really strong, annoying as hell. Stances where she cannot be hit unless you do something that literally scrapes the ground. Leroy, all-arounder, annoying-ass character, has everything that you possibly need. If you lose Leroy, it's your fault. If you want an all-around character that does it all, you know what? Forget this whole thing of me telling you, just pick Leroy. If you're not picking Leroy, what are you doing? Kunimitsu, bullshit character, Oki character. She relies on the Oki. Her stand-up game isn't that bad. Her movement is really good, but she needs the mix-ups to really get her game going, and it's annoying as shit to deal with. Even if you do know what's going on. Lydia is, I want to say an all-arounder, but I'm going to say more offensive than anything, because she can play Tekken and literally force you to do stupid shit with her great poking, counters, decent lows. She has it all, and she has a hell sweep that literally keeps you right fucking there. But I don't want to keep this going too long. This is the entire video, so these are the characters in the order. Depending on what you want and what you see in the character, this is what I would go with as far as picking a character or switching to another character that suits more towards your playstyle. If you're defensive, you want a mix-up character, you want an offensive character, you want an all-arounder. That's what I would go with. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll catch you guys next time on the next video, and peace.